It's time for game number 3 on day number 3 from AT&T Stadium in Arlington of the UIL State Football Championships. The Lone Star Rangers from Frisco, in search of their first state title, bring a high-powered offense in under the direction of the only coach they've ever known, Jeff Rayburn. But in order to win that elusive first state title, they'll have to take down the defending state champions. The Rangers from Smithson Valley were here a year ago. They won for the first time a year ago, and Ty Knutson leads that Ranger attack. So, dynamic offenses, punishing defenses. It's the dark blue and white Rangers against the dark blue and white Rangers. The 5A Division I state championship. Frisco Lone Star against Smithson Valley. Hi again, everybody. Welcome to our coverage here. And back deep to receive it, Hunter Haug and Noah Johnson. 5A Division I title game underway. Shorter kick fielded at the 29-yard line by Haug. And this is going to be good starting field position for Smithson Valley, as they'll operate from their own 44-yard line. And there is Ty Knutson. Say he's posted some impressive numbers this year.
Yeah, absolutely. You see it right there on your screen. 65% completion rate, 28-3 touchdown to interception ratio. That's absolutely insane. I don't care what type of offense that you're facilitating. These guys do like to control the ground game, but when they do put it in the air, it is at that man's hands, and he does a heck of a job displaying the ball all over the place.
They officially marked it at the 42, and that is where Smithson Valley will begin. With Caleb Piegler in the backfield, but it's to the air and right over the middle on the first play, and it goes out to Hunter Haug. That's the combo we spoke of, Isaiah, and right away it's a hit of 20 yards.
I can tell you one thing that I see about Hunter Haug whenever I turn on the film is he understands zone coverages. So if you think that you're going to play zone coverage and give Ty some time in the backfield, you're going to be mistaken, because I can tell you what, he's going to find all the spaces in the zone. Look at it right there. Nice little cover 3 zone. He understands exactly where the space is available. He makes himself pass friendly. Good catch. First down.
At the Lone Star 38, a lineup in the pistol, and this time to the ground. Sweeping to left is Caleb Piegler, and a nice first down carry. He'll pick up 7 down to the 31, and Nico Viveros on to make the tackle for Lone Star. So the Smithson Valley lineup: Riley Bowman, Jake Irwin, Kyle Gugliotta, Clinton Goss, and Aiden Barrette on the offense from Piegler. You just saw him carry the ball. Braxton Sawyer will be in the backfield. Brody Wick, Hunter Haug, and Luke Peace. The main receivers there. Luke Peace at the tight end spot for Coach Larry Hill's offense. Second down and 3. And back the other way, and there is the tight end Peace. Luke Peace. It'll be a first down. Will spin back the opposite way and down to the 12-yard line for a gain of 19.
One of the things we talked about when we talked to Coach Rayburn for Lone Star is he was afraid of the fact that they were going to try to run play action. Well, the only way that you can have an effective play action game is if you have an effective running game. You see it early now where they got a positive run, and now all of a sudden right to the play action. So, smart opening series for Smithson Valley. The Rangers down to the Lone Star 10-yard line, or just outside the 10. It's first down. Handoff, Piegler bouncing forward, trying to carry a couple of tacklers with him. He'll move down to the 7. They can pick up the first down without getting a touchdown. The defensive lineup for the Lone Star Rangers from Frisco: Marcel Dominguez, Christopher Knowles, Colson Jaggers. The down lineman, Miles Isidore. Saw Viveros make a tackle. Caleb Tasby and Jordan Deck, the linebackers. In the secondary, it's Antonio Martin, Carice Hoyt. You'll hear his name on both sides of the ball back there, along with Bryce Hayes Roberts and Bryant Robinson. Keep your eye out on number 46 and 44 in that defensive line. Those are the playmakers on the defensive front for the Rangers.
On second down and 5 from the 7, Piegler inside the 5. Not quite enough for a first down, but he's close. And it'll bring up third down and about a yard needed, as Canton Cotton, senior strong side linebacker, on the tackle for Lone Star.
Yeah, the defensive line for Lone Star does a good job of getting some penetration. You see it there. All the gaps are being filled on that particular defensive attempt. Not a lot of places to run. Now, talk about the ability to run play action. Down here near the goal line, you have to really be disciplined with your eyes defensively, because things happen really quickly.
So now, on third down and a yard needed for the first. Again, the carry
And it does not look like Pigler made it. It'll bring up 4th down. Caleb Tasby and Carice Hoyt in on the tackle for Lone Star. So now it's 4th down and a yard to go for Smithson Valley.
You see they run a 3-4 defense. That means that those 3 down linemen are consuming 3/5 of that offensive line. And when those guys try to double team those dominant defensive linemen, it leaves run lanes for the linebackers at the second level. That's exactly what's taking place. They're seeing the ball, they're going and hitting the ball.
Smithson Valley still can pick up a 1st down without scoring a touchdown, but they need at least 1 yard. 4th down and 1 at the pistol. Pigler again, turning inside. He did not get it. Standing like a stone wall, the Lone Star defense, Nico Viveros and Christopher Knowles, turned the ball over to Lone Star.
We talked about the big fellas on that front for Lone Star. Those guys stood tall and stood strong. 3 down linemen, they only need 2 on that right side. They were able to shut it down. You guys are going to see it here, getting penetration there. And then we talked about those linebackers having the ability to free flow and not have to worry about those offensive linemen. Everybody's rallying to the ball. Big time tackle, turnover on downs.
Lone Star did some bending, but they did not break. And they will take over for their first offensive possession coming up. Early first quarter here in the 5A Division I state championship game. You know, every year eyes are on Arlington, but especially so this year on Victory Plus. Through 8 games of these 2025 UIL state championships, over 1 million viewers counting on Victory Plus as they continue to rise the numbers. A worldwide reach in places like Mexico, the United Kingdom, Sweden, India, Australia, the Bahamas, Spain, Germany, Ecuador, Portugal. We thank you for watching. Our coverage tomorrow on the final day, all 3 games, starts at 11 a.m. And starting off for Lone Star, big carry on 1st down, and that's Carice Hoyt. We said we'd be telling you about him on both sides of the football. Jeff Rayburn likes to use him all over the field, and he did so there for 18 yards.
You want to talk about a powerful downhill running back? Look at this man, Carice Hoyt, right here. You're going to need to wrap him up. Hitting him with your shoulder pads is not going to be enough. The energy is absolutely insane in here, and he's feeling all of it. He's making sure that the defense is feeling it whenever he goes downhill. Great run.
1st and 10 from the 22. Back to the ground. Bouncing outside is Hoyt once again. Trying to turn the corner, hurdling one man and out of bounds, just like Isaiah Stanback used to do when he played.
Oh, you snuck me. I was going to call you out there.
Liam McGee forced him out, but here's the hurdle.
Look at the shoes. That's all he wanted. He just wanted to get the poster shot with the shoes. That was it, Craig. Exceptional speed, the ability to be able to bounce that and get outside and then hurdle.
Pickup of 6 yards on the play, so it's 2nd down and 4. And now Trey Wright will spread the field and go empty. 5 wideouts now, 1 man in motion behind the formation. The throw will go to him. That's Aaron Corrin, and he is wrapped up. Colon hit immediately by Jake Stover, the senior linebacker. By the way, that's tackle number 124 of this season for the senior Jake Stover.
He's a tackling machine sitting right there in the middle of that defense. He was actually outside linebacker on that particular play, sat into the zone. It looked like it was about a cover 2 zone, so when that swing route came out there, he was sitting there waiting on him and went out there and delivered the big hit. See it right here on the outside. He's going to be sitting there waiting. Boom, comes down. Yeah!
So no gain on the play. It's 3rd and 4. And Wright to go to the air or take off. Little jump pop pass underneath. It's going to be short. No, incomplete even. Intended for Hoyt. And Wright was having to kind of hop in the air and try to find Carice Hoyt, but it comes up incomplete. And after 1 1st down, it's going to be a punt.
Take a peek here. Does he get his hands underneath? He does. Good job getting the knuckles down.
Well, they ruled it incomplete. And of course, there is replay review. Take a little look here. See if it touches the turf there.
No, that pinky was underneath there. That was a good catch.
Does not look like there'll be a signal from the booth coming down. So the punt will go away. It would have been short of the 1st down anyway. Correct. Important to point out there. And that punt will carry across midfield into Smithson Valley territory. And the punt travels 25 yards. Well, how about some keys to this football game from Isaiah stand back with his back to the bases.
Oh, that's a young, skinny stand back right there. But let's take a look over here for Frisco Lone Star. They need to force 2 turnovers. They need to get the ball out of Smithson Valley's hands. They know where they can throw the ball all day long, and they need to run for 200 yards. Try to control the time of possession there. Smithson Valley on the other side, they need to limit the splash plays. We know that Lone Star can throw this ball all over the place. You want to cut down and not allow any more than 4, and then try to run the ball as much as possible to limit the opportunities that they have offensively.
From the 47, quick swing pass, goes outside, turning the corner, and around the corner on the run is Isaiah Reggins, sophomore. And a good carry for 12 yards off the catch and a first down for Smithson.
It's getting the ball out on the edges. You know, one thing about Smithson Valley is they can run the rock, right? So you're going to be a lot of attention inside the box, and their players are going to want to come downhill. But if you can get these guys up from Lone Star going sideline to sideline, you're going to open up some creases and therefore creating a better running game opportunity later on in the game.
So to go from the pistol now. And handoff going to Gunnar Shoquist, sophomore, driven back, got right to the line of scrimmage and nothing more. Was shoved back. Marcel Dominguez, the senior defensive end, on the stop.
Listen, when we talked to Coach Rayburn, he said there was one man on this defense that was absolutely unblockable. You know who that was, Craig?
The dude that just made it to the play, right?
Absolutely. Number 44, Marcel Dominguez. He's an absolute madman at that defensive line position, and he has his Bass bro right next to him, Christopher Knowles. Those guys collectively are an absolute problem on that defensive front.
From the 41. Off play action. Knutson able to get rid of it. Does have a man. And that is Haug again with the catch. And a first down inside the 25 down to the 24-yard line for a pickup of 17.
Hunter Haug. Look at this route at the top left of your screen. Put the brakes on, gets out of the break, pass friendly, plenty of space on the sideline. All you got to do is drop the ball in there. Watch him get in and out of his break. Drops his weight, shoulders over his toes. One heck of a route. I told you he's a route specialist. He's proven it tonight.
Ty Knutson, perfect through the air so far in the ball game. 4 for 4, 68 yards. And on first down, misdirection, swinging it back the other way is Haug. This time cannot get free. Excellent job as Caleb Tasby and Jordan Deck team up on the tackle.
Watch number 9 on the right side of your screen. Jordan Day sheds one blocker, trying to crack back on him, and then he goes out there and gets the outside leverage. The reason why that's so important on that pursuit is because if he doesn't get the outside leverage, they get the edge. But the fact that he goes outside, forces him back inside, now he has help and they can wrangle him down to the ground. One heck of a job understanding team defense.
Jordan Deck headed to the University of Michigan. Out of the shotgun, pressure coming on Knutson, and he'll be wrapped up. Down he'll go. This will be a sack. And that's Tasby who comes in. Tasby used to registering sacks. He has 10 now this season.
And Tasby is able to get back there again. This 3-4 defense is causing problems up there for Smithson Valley. You seem like they don't understand exactly what to do blocking-wise because you have to be so concerned with those 3 big fellas up front. It's allowing those guys to be able to get run-throughs, and Tasby is a benefactor of that.
So now third down from the 31-yard line. And 3rd and 17. This one over the middle and caught. It'll be short of the first down. On the slant across the middle, Brody Wick with his first reception of the evening. He's immediately brought down by Bryce Hayes Roberts, the sophomore safety. It picks up 13. Now it's 4th down and 4.
Good job by the offensive line for Smithson Valley. Those guys sat up there, was able to decipher exactly what was going on the defensive front, and then what a catch. That's a tough contested catch to make. Took a big hit. Was able to get the completion for his team, put them in field goal position.
And Trent Amaya on for a 35-yard try. The left footer is able to drive it through. So he knocks it through, and Smithson Valley is on the board. So 3:49 to go in the first quarter. The Rangers from down in the Hill Country strike first, and a 3-0 lead in the 5A Division I state championship. Of Joe Martin, the executive director of the Texas High School Coaches Association. He said he and Peggy moved down into
that area way on back when their kids were little younger. They wanted them to play for Larry Hill, and they both did, and they both have continued careers in football and coaching. Kickoff return and bringing it back upfield was Gross. And so now Trey Wright gets ready to lead Lone Star back onto the field, and he's had impressive numbers as well.
Yeah, mama, there goes that man. He is exceptional. Every so often you get a young talent that comes across your board, and that is exactly who Trey Wright is. Somebody who has the ability to throw one heck of a ball down the field, make good decisions, and if you decide to drop back in coverage, he will hurt you with his legs.
Oh, when he's a sophomore.
Oh, yeah.
By the way.
Yeah, you got a few more years left.
Chain issue.
You know, it's the second chain issue that's happened here at the state championships. So they got to go over and kind of straighten all that out. Let's take a look at that Lone Star lineup while they work out the kinks in the chain. Kendrick Morgan, James Moses, Curtis Butler, Xander Hancock, and Brett Tompkins across the offensive front for Lone Star. Isaiah Massey, Zach Forbush, Davian Gross, Colson Jaggers, and Logan Brown. You're going to see different guys, however, roll in there. Colin has been there running back, Massey, Gross, Hoyt. They'll all rotate in there at various points. This time, the carry is to Gross, and he's unable to get it going. Stopped at the line of scrimmage by Colton Hornsby. For him, the senior linebacker, that's tackle number 107.
Yeah, Hornsby's such a solid tackler. You watch him on the film, and you just understand that he understands what's happening on the offensive side of things. He understands the blocking schemes, and it's allowing him to be able to get to the ball first. He takes his time, he makes sure that he makes the right decision, and then he shoots the hole.
On second down and 10. Wright looking to go to the air. And he will swing it out to his tight end, Colson Jaggers. Jaggers, good run after the catch. Close to, a little bit short of the first down. Picked up 8. It'll bring up third down and 2. Brought down by Devin DeToto.
Jaggers a little premature with the celebration there, trying to signal the first down. It was one heck of a catch and a run for the big fella right there. I'm not mad at him, though. Yeah, you're on TV.
So 3rd and a yard to go here. Reese Hoyt in the backfield, keeping it himself as Wright has the first down and a lot more. Look out. Here he goes, has excellent speed. And the ball came loose. It's picked up, or did they rule him down? Down by contact at midfield. And it will
Ruling
be
on the field. Runner was down. First down.
Right at the 50-yard line. As Trey Wright spun around on the tail end of this 22-yard game.
Well, he ran a zone read here. He has the option to hand it off to the running back or pull it, depending on what the end man on the line of scrimmage does. The end man on the line of scrimmage took the running back. That gave him the option to go ahead and pull it around and take off and utilize his assets, which is his speed.
Right in the middle of the big blue star for the Lone Stars, and they go back to work on first down. Pressure coming. Now the ball is out. Picked up. And it's recovered by Smithson Valley. Devin DeToto, the sophomore linebacker, recovers, and the turnover gives it to Smithson Valley.
On the backside, I believe it was the man that they called the Beast, Hudson Woods, number 92, if I am correct. We'll take a look here on the replay. Look at the right side of your screen. Coming off, swipes the hands away, comes up and gets the strip sack. Big time play. He is their guy when it comes to trying to get pressures. Came into this game with 16 sacks. Go ahead and make it 17, Craig. They're the biggest play of the game.
Maybe one of the biggest plays of the season to this point, depending on how Smithson Valley operates now with possession. Up 3-0 late first quarter. Off the turnover and back in the pistol. It'll go to Piegler. Boy, did he sprint through a hole quickly. Outside is Piegler, and has a first down inside the 20 for the junior Caleb Piegler. Off to a good start. He's not that far from 1,000 yards rushing this season. Bryce Hayes-Roberts made the tackle after a 25-yard gain.
Look at the blocking up front. Got the combo block. Got even the tight ends coming down, getting the crack back. He stretches to the outside. The linebacker over pursues, and then he just turns on the gas. And once he gets past that second level, good luck trying to catch him.
Piegler, 6 carries for 40 yards. Came into tonight's game at 911 for the 2025 season. So at the 19 of Lone Star, Smithson Valley on the move again. Piegler again.
trying to turn the corner, went into the slot that time and was able to pick up about 5 before he was brought down by Jordan Deck.
This is when they're dangerous. When you allow for them to get their running game going and start controlling the line of scrimmage.
Second down and 5. To Piegler again. This time the Ranger defense is ready, and they stuff him for a yard loss back at the 15.
The big fellas are doing work up there. Understand how impactful these guys are. 3 down linemen. Typically there's 5 offensive linemen plus a tight end that's in there. So these guys are taking on 6 people, and they are still initiating their will at the line of scrimmage.
And Larry Hill says we'll just go ahead and take it the other end of the field. Into the first quarter here of the UIL 5A Division I State Championship. We expected hard hitting. We've seen that. We expected some big plays. We've seen that. But only a 3-0 lead. Smithson Valley, the defending state champions, on top here in this 5A Division I title matchup here on Victory Plus, presented by Jack in the Box. Over Kilgore in the 4A Division I state championship, and then in the 4A Division II title, make that 11 state championships for the Carthage Bulldogs, who defeated West Orange Stark 49-21. Scott Surratt has coached 11 state championship games. He's won 11 state championship games. He's 11-0. That's an all-time record in Texas high school football history for most state championships won by one coach.
What kind of trophy case do you need for that?
It's funny that you bring that up. He says his wife has a sack where all of his championship rings, they just put them in a big sack. All right.
Nice problem to have.
Smithson Valley back to work. And Knutson under pressure and then tosses it in the air. A dangerous throw there, but it's incomplete. Is able to get rid of it on 3rd down and avoid the sack. And Brody Fan and Christopher Knowles were bearing down on him, but it does leave the Rangers with an opportunity to get 3.
Ooh, that was dangerous Michael Jackson style. Oh my goodness. Came out here, a lot of times you just want to see him throw the ball out of bounds. When you turn back in and you kind of just flick it at a little flick of the wrist, you put it in a lot of danger. Luckily they were able to get away with it, but as you mentioned right there, the big fella Christopher Knowles was right on his tail, almost was able to get the sack.
Trent Amaya good on his first field goal try. Here's a second one. This one's shorter from 32 for the left footer. And it's blocked. Ball loose. Spinning. And it'll continue to spin. And it will fall down at the 7. So field goal blocked there, and it'll come out to the 20-yard line on the blocked field goal. So as a result of that, here's another look at the block right there.
Who was it? That man again, Christopher Knowles, right up the middle. Talking about making an impact on defense and on special teams. We've seen it. It's time after again here in the state championship game. The special teams units are making a tremendous impact in the results of these games.
Zay, look at this ball spin on the floor, on the field. It was spinning like what you used to do when you would score a touchdown and spin it there on the field.
Nice little bottle top spin right there.
So Christopher Knowles does that. So Smithson Valley unable to cash in the turnover on the fumble.
Yeah.
And Lone Star, given a reprieve, goes back to work from its own 20. Early second quarter here, and only a 3-0 ball game right now. And off, sweeping to the right side, cutting back inside is Carice Hoyt. Nice first down carry. Devin DeToto makes the tackle, but it's still a gain of 9 yards. It's second down and a yard to go.
And Craig, you were just talking about it in terms of how they intertwine all these different weapons that they have. They have so many explosive players. It's almost hard to get them all involved, but they're rotating all their playmakers in at the running back position, and they haven't even really started to throw the ball around yet.
It is second down and a long yard needed. Nose of the football just shy of the 29. Wright will keep it himself, and he will pick up the first down. Brought down at the 32, a gain of 3+.
Sometimes they're dropping back and getting over the receivers. Sometimes they're not. So I would imagine that Trey Wright's starting to get a little nosy and trying to see exactly where these safeties are going to be.
Now Wright looking to throw, like you said, downfield. Got a man. Incomplete. The flags are going to come down. He was going for public enemy number 1, Davey Gross. And Gross grabbed by Noah Johnson. And of course, Gross represents such a threat to the opposition. And this will be pass interference.
Pass interference. Defense number 12. 15-yard penalty. Automatic. First down.
You see Gross right here in the middle. Give him a little 1-2 Sierra two-step, and it's just too much speed. I don't blame him for trying to hold him. You probably just saved the touchdown.
Yeah, take the 15-yard penalty at that point. So he'll be out to the 48.
I was mentioning, Craig, about those safeties. There was no over-the-top safeties, right? Those safeties stayed at that 10-yard mark. You have to play over the top of Gross, otherwise you're going to pay a dear price.
So from the 48, quick swing pass outside, and good form tackle after the catch was made by Massey, by Liam McGee, the senior corner.
And you guys see a two-high shell up top, two safeties sitting up top. They're playing a little bit of quarters coverage, which means all the DBs are responsible for one quarter of the field. They're going to sink, play a bend, but don't break type of defense, and they're expecting these corners to be able to come up and make these open field tackles.
From the 50, it's second down and 8 for Lone Star. Rangers will spread the field again. 5 receivers, no running backs, and it's a design run straight ahead. Trey Wright to the 45. A gain of 5. Colton Hornsby the stop for Smithson Valley.
And they'll take that all day long. What you're starting to see now for Lone Star is they're starting to spread the field out. They're really trying to get an empty box for Trey Wright. They're making it clear enough to look. They're trying to unmuddy it for him. And when you come out in these 4 or 5 receiver sets, spreading sideline to sideline, using all 53.5 yards of this width of this field, the defense has to adjust. If they adjust and they widen out, well, Trey Wright can run the ball all day long in the light box.
Third down and 3 for Lone Star. Wright again, design run. This time the Ranger defense is ready. They'll drop him. He had surged forward. They'll give him back the line of scrimmage, but nothing more than that. Philip Smith, the senior safety, spinning down to help make that stop.
I hope you guys understand exactly what Trey Wright is seeing. You see there's no middle linebacker right there. You got the 4 down linemen, but the middle of the field is open. So he ran to the outside when in reality you want to try to stay as straight as possible because there is no support defensively at the second level. They're going to continue to try to threaten Smithson Valley in terms of their ability to match up and leave that light box. The question is, can they get this conversion?
What did Craig Slaughter, the head coach at Wall, tell us last night? We came here to win. We're going for it. And Lone Star will go for it on 4th down. Wright still looking for a receiver and cannot connect. Was going downfield and was looking for Braxton Wambach, the junior, and could not link up with him. And the football will go over on downs to Smithson Valley at the Smithson 45. 8:20 to go in the first half. And it's still 3-0 Smithson Valley. The 5A Division I UIL State Football Championship on Victory Plus, presented by Jack in the Box. We take you back 1 year ago with Highland Park looking for state title number 7, taking on Smithson Valley. Scott's got off to a great start. Buck Randall, a dart to Ken Bozeman, weaving his way through the Ranger defense for the opening score of the game. But Smithson Valley does roar back. And in the 4th quarter, Cade Spradley bulls his way across the goal line on the quarterback keeper. And after 32 years of waiting, Larry Hill finally realizes the dream, capturing that elusive state championship. His first, Smithson Valley with a 32-20 win over Highland Park. And now trying to make it back-to-back state titles, with the Rangers turning over the Lone Star Rangers on downs. And you see that average starting field position, Isaiah, that'll catch up to you eventually if you can't flip the field position.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, special teams matters. Like I said, I brought it up earlier. We've seen the special teams unit impact a lot of these games. Tonight seems to be no different.
From the 45. Quick swing pass outside. Weaving through traffic is Brody Wick. Nice catch and run. A gain of 8 brought down by Nico Vivros. He's already been very active here early.
Yeah, these linebackers are flying around and hitting. These guys are getting sideline to sideline. That's why you're seeing Smithson Valley try their best to get outside the box, right? Trying to get outside the box so that they can gain some kind of leverage on the outside. But when you have linebackers that can run and hit like this, with that 3-4 defense, it's hard to out-leverage these guys because it's just pure numbers.
Vivros came in with 133 tackles. He already has 4 right now. Sweep into the right side. Trouble there. Great play there by the Lone Star defense. There's Marcel Dominguez. There's that man again, as you like to say. A loss of 3 as he wraps up Gunnar Sjöquist.
Man, you just said it, Craig. Watch the get off on the right side of the line. Goes on the inside just to get back outside. Fools the offensive lineman and is able to get the man down for a TFL, tackle for loss. Add that to his stat sheet, which is already insane.
He came in at over 20 sacks and 36 tackles for loss. He already has 2 of those here in the first half. Now 3rd down and 5 for Smithson Valley. Quick pass and incomplete. A little too quick, trying to turn around to grab it. Was Wick, could not come up with it. And it's 4th down and 5.
And that's just a little bit of miscommunication. Ty Newton is looking for his receiver to get to the yard markers. He doesn't need him to go beyond that. They just need to simply get the first down. So even if your typical route calls for you to go 10 yards, if the yard marker's at 7 yards, just run to 7, turn around, he's going to get the ball right on you. That's why you saw a little bit of a inaccuracy there, because they were on 2 different thought processes.
Trenamaya handles both the punting and place kicking duties. Fumbled the snap. Can he get the kick away? He does. And what a kick!
Wow.
Inside the 20 and inside the 10. This is amazing. This is an amazing play. It'll be down at the 6. It's a 44-yard work of art out of desperation. Unbelievable effort by the punter, the left footer Trenamaya, when it looked like he'd be tackled or the kick blocked or a pop-up. How about this one?
This is how you draw it up, Craig. You just want to go ahead and draw the defensive pressure to you. One heck of a job by the punter, reeling it in, finding a way to get it off and down the field, and then look at that thing roll. Look at it, bobbled it, had the awareness to be able to see exactly where the rush was. Did I have time? Do I need to change my angle? And is able to get the punt off and then put it inside the 10. Inside, almost inside the 5-yard line, right on the 6. Good punt.
That went through the wickets as well. Therese Hoyt in the backfield, but right over the middle, and does have Gross there. Slicing across the middle with a big catch and a first down, pick up of 23 yards.
Greg, you can't allow Gross to just run off the line of scrimmage unimpeded. There is nobody touching him for an entire route. This is no different than what they did in pregame warmups. He is running his routes the way that you draw it up on paper. As long as they allow them that much space, these guys are going to connect a whole lot tonight.
1st and 10 from the 29. Lone Star on the move now as we approach the midway mark of quarter number 1. Quarter number 2, excuse me. Massey in the backfield, but Wright's looking to throw. Downfield, has a man, but it's tipped and almost picked off. Well, Hunter Howe playing both ways tonight. Back on corner, had the coverage on Logan Brown. He had the body positioning as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Logan Brown turned into the defender on that one, because we know that Hunter Howe can go ahead and catch the ball. Trey Wright just tried to give his man an opportunity. He sat here, he got outside the pocket, didn't necessarily need to. Throws it up there. His man had the advantage, a little bit underthrown, and Hunter Howe makes a heck of a play on the ball. But Logan Brown might have made the better play.
2nd down and 10 for the Lone Star 29. Wright with a deep retreat, sets up the tunnel screen, but it's not going to do much. Caught by Gross, adjusted quickly by Smithson Valley, and Colton Hornsby on the stop.
One of the few times tonight that we've seen Lone Star actually go to the 3 receiver side. This is actually a screen play that he tried to allow to develop. It wasn't necessarily a pass rush that was pressuring him. The offensive linemen are actually allowing that pass rush to get to him so that they can go ahead and get it on the outside, and then you have blockers out in front.
It's a gain of 3 yards, so it's 3rd down and 7 for Lone Star, operating out of the empty set. But before they get going, this could be a false start against Lone Star. So the offensive group of Rangers penalized.
False start. Offense, number 78, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
That's Tony Barcelona, the referee from this Houston-based chapter. That includes Rodney Evans, Stephen Jones, Ryan Middleton, Mark Smith, Timothy Woods, Derek Wilson, and Tony Jackson.
And you got Trey Wright trying to operate in this environment. This crowd noise is loud. You got both sides screaming, going crazy. This is a championship game. You are playing at the highest level on Victory Plus, and you can hear the crowd right now. Listen to that crowd noise. The offensive line is trying to get a jump and trying to get a beat, but there's a lot of noise to try to decipher.
The false start turns 3rd and 7 into 3rd and 12, and Wright on the run, looking. Goes upfield, it is caught, and it's a first down. What a play made by Gross. It looked like even as he made the catch, he might be 2, maybe 3 yards
short of the first down. Instead, he turned it to the boundary, then north-south, and picked up 12 yards.
Good job by Trey Wright, just keeping his eyes downfield. You guys see him, and even as he breaks out the pocket, he does not decide to just run. He gets his eyes downfield, and it makes it very difficult on his defense. When you have a true dual-threat quarterback, you have to make a commitment to stopping him from running. As soon as you come up the run, you pick the wrong door because he's going to throw it right behind you.
On 3rd and 12, the Rangers pick up 12. 1st and 10, Lone Star from its own 39 to the ground. And good running this time, but a late flag coming in on Carice Hoyt's carry. It would be a 7-yard gain with a tackle from Jake Stover, but we'll wait on the call from Tony Barcelona, the referee.
Holding. Offense, number 70. 10-yard penalty. Repeat, first down.
James Moses, the junior left guard, called for the hold. And so again, second time on this drive, Isaiah Lone Star is behind the chains.
Yeah, these self-inflicted wounds are not going to help your case. This is already a tight ball game. You're trying to have sustained drives. You're trying to limit the opportunities, obviously, that Smithson Valley is going to have. But at the end of the day, you got to be able to move these chains. And when you're going backwards, you're not helping your cause.
So now it's 1st and 20, back at the 29 where this all began. After that last first down coming out from the 6 to the 20. Massey in the backfield, and it's a design run. And here goes Trey Wright. And only able to pick up 6 out to the 35. Wrapped up by Hudson Woods, the senior defensive end and SMU signee.
They're going to continue to run this quarterback draw as long as they have these 5-man boxes. You see the 4-down lineman. There's one other person at that second level, and you see Big 70 right there. James Moses going up and getting him. At that point, it's 5-on-5. It's mano a mano, and they feel like they can win that.
So now,
try to get him with the chicken strips right there.
From the 35, excuse me. Right, looking to throw or run again. Here he goes. He'll take off. Oh, was he hit? Oh my goodness, did he take a pop from Colton Hornsby? He closed the gap on it and it loses a yard.
Listen, you better find out where 17 is at. I know you're exceptional, Trey Wright, but when you tuck this ball away, you better identify 17. Otherwise, you're going to feel that right there. One heck of a play by Hornsby. It's not the first time we've called his name tonight, and it won't be the last.
No, it's the 7th time we've called his name. He's already made 7 tackles here in the first half.
Jeez Louise. Big third down here.
15 yards needed for the first down for Lone Star. Wright had some time, still with some time. Now he has to escape the rush. Still looking, but now the Rangers starting to close in on him. Still, downfield has a man open. It's short of the first down, but it is a manageable situation on the catch by Braxton Wambach. They needed 15. They picked up 13.
Yeah, Trey Wright gave them a chance. He didn't necessarily need to scramble. Reminds me of a young Isaiah back when I played quarterback. He actually does the offensive line does a great job of giving him a pocket. There's no need to go outside the tackle box. You actually run it to the defender. But needless to say, he still finds a way to buy some time, and it's very difficult for a defense to cover the receivers for that long.
So on 4th down, and a long yard needed for the first, they'll line up to punt, and now that's going to turn 4th and about 1.5 yards, and the 4th and 6.5.
False start. Offense, number 9. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
In the words of DJ Khaled, another one. You got to stop doing this. Cannot continue to have self-inflicted wounds. You got to see it on the left side of your screen. Yeah. He tries to play red light, green light with the referee. I think the referee got him that time.
A little bit of a waggle from Jordan Dack.
He said they didn't see that, did they? Yeah, they got you.
So now for the 43 on 4th down. Pressure coming, but the kick is away. Knuckleball kick fielded, and trying to turn the corner upfield is Johnson. Johnson, an excellent return. It looked like he might be wrapped up early and then spun out of it along the boundary and returned it 14 yards.
Good return. Field possession matters. Special teams matter. It doesn't look like much to the untrained eye, but he just saved his team 2 first downs.
3:02 to go in the half. Back to the ground for Smithson Valley, and on first down, a gain of a couple by Piegler. Wrapped up by Marcel Dominguez.
And his defensive line is starting to figure it out for Lone Star. Those guys are up front are starting to really turn it on. We've seen a couple big runs early on by Piegler and the rest of the offensive prowess for Smithson Valley, but this three-man front is really starting to tighten things down. What you're starting to see is those three guys are starting to line up and consume all 5 offensive linemen. They're starting to line up in the gaps between the center and the guard, and what that's forcing the offensive line to do is squeeze down their protection.
Smithson Valley with all 3 of its timeouts, plus the 2-minute timeout. Quick swing pass outside, but it will be a minimal gain out to Isaiah Reggie. Gain of a couple, wrapped up quickly, and over there on the tackle was Jordan Deck, and it brings up 3rd down, and this may take us to the 2-minute timeout. It will. For Larry Hill's team, up 3-0 and trying to get something together here before the first half expires. Remember, Lone Star will get the ball to start the second half. So 2 minutes remaining in the first half. The 5A Division I state championship in this battle of blue and white Rangers. And it's the ones from Smithson Valley with a 3-0 lead. Smithson Valley up 3-0 at the 2-minute timeout of the first half here in Arlington. Hey, I want to remind you, you can score access to the 2-minute timeout. And Knutson to the air and just beyond the reach of Howe. And Lone Star claiming that Howe pushed off and then to create space for him, but it's incomplete in any event. And now it's 4th down, and Coach Hill not going to take a chance to go ahead and punt it away.
Outside release. Oh, a lot of contact there. There definitely was a little OPI right there. The referee did not throw the flag, so it didn't happen. Just overthrown. It's tough for quarterbacks rolling out, right-handed quarterbacks rolling out to their left. He could have held on to it for a split second more. That would have been a completion.
Amaya had an almost miracle punt his last time. This one, a knuckler. That'll roll. Takes a nice roll inside the 20. And will roll all the way down, I think, to the 14-yard line. I think that's where they'll mark that, at the 14-yard line. 43 yards on the punt. Okay, so Lone Star knows they need to travel pretty much the length of the field, which is only slightly less than what they had to travel to get here. Just 41 miles. Down the Dallas North Tollway over to I-30, and there you are. And they're actually across the county line in Denton County, part of those 12 5A high schools, but there's going to be 6A next year in realignment. There'll be some 6A there. And Lone Star with a school record 15 wins this season, still in search of that first state title, but a perfect 15-0 record coming in. Rangers will operate from their own 14. Lone Star has all 3 of its timeouts and 101 seconds on the clock. Right. Looking for somebody, anybody, and then does the smart thing and chucks it out of bounds there. He did have his eyes downfield in that case, was looking for somebody to break free. Nobody available, so he did the smart thing and tossed it away.
And his eyes tend to keep going to the single receiver side, which is the space, the side that has the least amount of space. You like to see him work the field down here. You see 3 receivers, there's 3 defensive backs. You have one-on-one matchups.
3 at the bottom of your screen on 2nd down and 10. Blitz look, and Wright trying to run right past it, but bounced outside and brought down another excellent open field tackle, this one by the senior linebacker Jake Stover.
Yeah, one heck of an athletic play. Again, you start going laterally. Jake Stover was able to make the big-time play here, hit him with the McNasty, 1-2, and now all of a sudden when you start running to the sideline, the pursuit angles start to take place, and this defense is just too good to outrun.
If Smithson Valley's able to get a 3rd down stop here, started to say they might use a timeout, but we've had a timeout call.
I think Trey Wright rolled his ankle on that tackle.
Yeah, unable to get up, but he's down there on the sideline.
Yeah, he got up, he tried to walk it off, and he ended up going back down. He grabbed his ankle immediately, ankle or foot immediately after that tackle. Tried to walk it off to the sideline, and as you saw, ended up back down to the ground. Good to see him back up and walking, but
he'll have to come out, and here's another look at it.
Look here. Yeah, looks
right
like
there.
Right ankle got caught underneath.
You know what that means, don't you?
What's that?
We get to see John Madden.
Let's go.
John Madden, the junior. Boom! The backup quarterback. thrown 59 passes. He's thrown 3 touchdown passes, so he's had some action. And with a minute remaining in the half, and having the hot mic back on it, that'll lose yardage and it'll bring up 4th down. Now, Smithson Valley does use a timeout here with 54 seconds remaining in the half.
Such a tough position to come in, and talking about John Madden coming in, trying to get his eyes downfield. Got to secure the snap first. It's a lot of pressure. Probably got 2 or 3 snaps before having to go in the game. You know it's in a passing down situation. Hard, tough situation to be in.
Well, certainly the hope will be for Lone Star that Wright is not seriously injured and he'll be able to come back in the second half here as they work on him on the table. But obviously that work will continue in the Lone Star locker room coming up here.
Yeah, you hope to see him be able to make it back out here. Hopefully a nice little tape job will do him justice. But now we're into a situation here where Lone Star is backed up and they're most likely about to punt here on a 4th and 13 situation. So you have 2 options if you are Smithson Valley. Do you go after the punt and sell out for the block and try to get a touchdown here, or do you get some holdups at the line of scrimmage and try to catch the ball on your side of the 50-yard line with 3 timeouts left, around 50 seconds? A lot of options here.
Yeah, I agree. They did use the first timeout here, so they still have 2 remaining. And also keeping in mind, Zay, that Lone Star is going to get the football to start the second half. So you know Larry Hill would love to see his guys put points on the board before the half is done. They do set up for the return. Line drive kick, fielded at the Lone Star 46, straight up the middle is Johnson. Here's Johnson inside the 25-yard line. And they'll mark him, they may mark him just shy of the 25 at the 26. The tackle made by Christopher Knowles.
Good job by the special teams unit as we see Trey Wright go ahead and take an early departure to the locker room. Smithson Valley ensured that they had a good return. They had 2 return men, so it didn't matter if you kicked it to the right or the left. The ball was going to be going directly to one of their guys. And then one heck of a job by their punt return team on getting their blocks to give themselves good field position. Now here we are at the 24-yard line, 2 timeouts. They're already in field goal position, but you know that that's not what they want to get.
Yeah, they ended up marking it at the 24. So now Smithson Valley with 2 timeouts remaining. So the Rangers go to work. Peagler lined up in the pistol behind Ty Knutson. Knutson looking to throw. Still looking. Lofting it for the tight end piece and cannot connect. It's incomplete.
Obviously, Ty Knutson went to the top of the screen on that one as he rolled up towards the boundary. I'm sorry, the field side. The one thing that I noticed down at the bottom of the screen was Hunter Haug, obviously the big-time receiver for Smithson Valley. He was down at the bottom of the screen on one-on-one matchup. I wonder if they would come back out in that same formation to try to replicate that look by the defense and take a shot down here at the bottom of the screen.
Second down and 10 at the 24.
Haug actually in the slot.
Looking that way, Knutson straight over the middle and a nice leaping grab inside the 10 by Haug. It'll be 1st and goal. Smithson Valley, 29 seconds remaining in the half, and the Rangers quickly to the line. They'll mark it at the 10. Now Smithson Valley will use that second timeout. And Haug having a hobble off the field.
Yeah, he's hobbling off as well. So here we are. We're seeing primetime players for each team hobbling off the field. But look at his route. Sticks it on the outside. He closes the gap, what we call stepping on the defender's toes. That means taking away the space for him to be able to react, put your foot in the ground, cross face, be pass friendly, and then use those strong hands to secure the catch. One heck of a route, one heck of a catch, and a great ball placement by Ty Knutson.
Right, you'll see it right there is where I think that right ankle rolled up. On the tail end of the catch, Haug holding on to it, trying to walk it off there on the sideline, seeing what kind of mobility he has. Smithson Valley called its second timeout. It will be 1st and goal right at the 10-yard line with 26 seconds remaining in the half.
10-yard line, 1 timeout. Everything's not on the board here because if you do run a play and it stays in bounds, you either have to burn your timeout or you have to hurry up and get to the line of scrimmage and run your next play. The spike is in play. A lot of different scenarios here, but most likely you're going to put the ball in the air.
Knutson looking, there for the end zone. And beyond the reach of the intended target, he was looking for Shaden Davis, the freshman, unable to come up with it.
A lot of contact on the outside. The referees are letting these guys play. Brian Robinson on the defense at the cornerback position, doing a good job of getting his hands on him, making it hard for him to get a free release. Ball just out of the reach. You see it there right off the fingertips of Shaden Davis.
Just a freshman, Shaden is. Second and goal from the 10.
Mention Howell is not in the game right now.
And off play action rolling. Newton's got running room if he wants it, but he'll throw for the end zone and incomplete. Again, Shaden Davis, the intended target. 15 seconds to go. Third down, because the Rangers have the one timeout. They could use the center of the field if they wanted to, but obviously they're wanting to get it into the end zone. They can't pick up a first down, so. And there is Hunter Howe coming back in the lineup. A little bit of a limp, but he's out there.
Yeah, he's out there. He knows how important this down is. They want to score a touchdown. They were missing his presence on these last two plays. Let's find out where he's going to go line up. He's going to be down in the slot at the bottom of your screen, right inside the 10-yard line.
And Jeff Rayburn wants a timeout on defense after seeing the alignment offensively for Smithson Valley. So Coach Rayburn, they're calling the timeout, wanting to make sure his guys are buttoned up. This is a huge play. As you like to say, the proverbial 4-point play here, as Smithson Valley would love to get a touchdown. Lone Star, at the worst, would like to hold them to a field goal.
And they have a solid field goal kicker, so they feel secure in the fact that they can go ahead and get these 3 points. But to your point, understanding that you almost have three, you feel as if you have 3 points in the bag right now at this on the 10-yard line, they're going to try to take a shot.
You see what the Rangers have done from Lone Star, building up over these past 4 seasons, a couple of area appearances, then in the Sweet 16 or the state quarterfinals, the regional final there, and now through to the state championship round, their second appearance in the state title round under Coach Rayburn. So now it is 3rd and goal. From the Smithson Valley perspective, Isaiah, I think even getting points, even a field goal, kind of almost neutralizes the second half kickoff, because you'd be kicking off anyway after a score. So that would be one thing, but obviously they'd love to get this to a 2-score lead.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, take your attention to number 4, Hunter Howe. He's going to be at the top of your screen, and right now it looks like he has no safety help over the top. Might be a fade route.
Well, looking that way, there's the fade, looking for Howe, shoving off in the end zone. No flag, and it's 4th down. Brian Robinson on the coverage, and Larry Hill wasn't real happy, and neither were the rest of the coaches there for Smithson Valley. Thought they could have been it. Take another look.
Good release. You see that right leg is just not, doesn't have the burst, doesn't have the stability. He is fighting through. He is showing his toughness and his grit, but he just does not have the stability that he did prior to that injury. Referees are allowing these guys to play. I love the fact that they're not trying to dictate this game. Missed opportunity there.
Amaya for the field goal, and Trent Amaya comes through. They've had 2 good, and they've had 1 blocked. That one goes through, and with 6 seconds to go, like we said, Smithson Valley's going to kick off to start the second half anyway, so it's pretty much the doing that. But you can see Coach Hill talking with the field judge there, saying that should have been pass interference, is what he's saying there.
I agree with the referee crew here. You got to allow these guys to play. You don't want to be the one to dictate what happens on that particular play.
Look at it right here.
Both guys are grabbing each other. Obviously, Hunter Howe loses his feet because he doesn't have that stability in that right ankle. That strength is, you can tell that he's injured right now. He's playing through it. But
look at
that
angle right here, right there.
Yeah,
that you say that doesn't constitute it.
Nah, I think that's a strong play. You got 2 competitors out there playing in the biggest game of their lives so far. You don't want to throw the flag on one of them simply because of the fact that he's on the defensive side of the ball.
Watch the lady behind here. She's pointing. Yeah. Where's the flag? Where's the flag?
State your case. I'm not mad at you.
Got to be pass interference. Where's the flag?
That was almost a Monroe St. Brown right there.
Yeah.
But Craig, you have to talk about the story here. two of the key ingredients for both teams are hobbled right now. You got Trey Wright that went down with an ankle injury. Obviously, he took an early departure to the locker room. And now you have the main man for Smithson Valley and Hunter Howell, who's trying to play through it. But you can tell he's just not right.
Comes the kickoff. 6 seconds to go in the half. A little squibber down the middle, and Lone Star will fall on it at the 31 with 4 seconds remaining in the half.
It's going to be interesting to see. Obviously, these guys are most likely to take a knee here or to just take a shot at the end zone. But how do both of these teams adjust if they can't get the same productivity or even get their guys back on the field? Adjustments have to be made offensively for Lone Star. Obviously, a new quarterback in there with John Madden. What is his style of play? Can he push the ball down the field, or do they have to start being dependent on this running game that they have? They have guys that can tote the rock. Obviously, Reese Hoyt, Gross gets back there as well. But how do these coaches now adapt when adversity is thrown in their face?
So Madden in at quarterback, at least to close out this first half for Lone Star. He's done on the ground. As they handed to Gross, trying to go somewhere, and he ended up going nowhere, just backwards. Good play made by the Smithson Valley defense. And that was Caden Leak who made the tackle. So the defending state champions, in defense of that title, hold a 6-0 halftime lead on a pair of field goals. But probably more impressive, Zay, is what their defense has done to slow down this high-powered Lone Star.
Curious as to what the game plan is going to be now. Trey Wright was doing a lot of the running for this Lone Star offense in that first half. Now you have to imagine that they're going to have to change up that game plan.
Wow, how about Gross bringing it out? And he stepped out of bounds at the 20-yard line. So wanted to create something. He's about 7-8 yards deep there, brought it out. But Lone Star will operate from its 20. And there is John Madden. And a look back at that injury there.
Yeah, you see Trey Wright right there getting his leg got caught underneath him on that tackle. Came up hobble. He tried to walk it off, as you see right here on your screen, and then ended up having to take another seat. Trying to show his toughness. The young phenom of a quarterback, unfortunately, has not came back out from halftime. So it will be John Madden with a huge opportunity to put his team in position to win this state championship.
He'll swing it out. The pass deflected at the line by Woods and incomplete. Hudson Woods already with a strip sack fumble and tipped that pass in the air. Mad at himself that he couldn't come up with the interception.
Yeah, you see it right there, just trying to get the ball out on a nice little swing screen. Got his hands up, was able to knock it down. Hudson Woods, big time defensive end, senior, going to SMU next year. Almost got away with a pick six there.
Brings up second down. Madden again will swing it outside, incomplete this time. Trying to go to Reese Hoyt, setting up a screen to move upfield. Now all of a sudden it's 3rd and 10.
Yeah, they're just trying to get John Madden going. They're trying to get him comfortable, right? You're coming into a situation where you haven't had a lot of reps throughout the year. Now you're coming into the game in the biggest game of the year with everything on the line. They're just trying to get him some easy passes, and unfortunately back-to-back swing screens didn't necessarily work in his favor. Now we're forced with a 3rd and long for the first time for Mr. Madden.
On 3rd down and 10. Blitz coming from Smithson Valley. Pass is caught, minimal gain. It'll be a pickup of about 4 or 5 yards, but as Colson Jaggers made the catch, he's brought down at the 25-yard line, and it'll be a 3 and out for Lone Star.
Well, if you had any questions as to what the offense for Lone Star was going to look like without Trey Wright, you just had a good idea of it. Madden came out through 2 swing screens. One almost got picked for got knocked down for almost a pick six. The next play threw it about 3 yards down the field.
Here's the answer to the other question. Hunter Howell is out back there to receive the punt. And a bad snap. And Madden to kick it. And he is able to move it downfield. And that's a nice effort. I mean, we've seen both punters, and of course John Madden is the punter as well. We've seen both of them really rescue dangerous situations. That one only goes 29 yards, but they'll take that given the snap.
Yeah, you take that because it could have been a lot worse. He was able to get back on it again. The awareness to see exactly where the rush was at, make a determination on whether or not you want to try to get this punt. Did a good job of getting it off. Just barely gets it off, but again, that field possession is a lot better than what it would have been.
All right, now from the 46, Smithson Valley again adding to that really good average starting field position tonight. Quick pass goes outside to Wick, trying to turn it inside, and then wrapped up by Jordan Deck. Deck drops Wick, and it's a pickup of 3. You look at Smithson Valley and their possessions in the first half. Remember, they moved it downfield well, but ended up being stopped on downs inside the 5 after getting the ball back. There's a field goal. It was a blocked field goal, a couple of punts, and then another field goal before the half was done. And as we mentioned, they've had the ball really on the better side of the field throughout the game so far. Piegler turning it upfield. Close to a first down, still about a yard or 2 shy. Brody fan on the tackle.
That's
for Lone Star.
That's a solid run, Craig. And when you're facing a 3-4 defense like the Lone Star Rangers play, the most effective way to impact that defense is by running the ball. You take care of those 3 down linemen with your 5 linemen. You get your tight ends to get up to the next level. There are natural running lanes for your running back as long as you go vertical. If you try to go sideline to sideline, the defense has an advantage. If you go vertical, there should be seams.
3rd down. About 2 needed for the first. Piegler pushes behind the offensive line, has the first down and more. Caleb Piegler, the junior, shoving forward for a gain of 9.
You see it right there, exactly how we just talked about it. Those natural running lanes are right there in the middle. You see those offensive linemen getting up on the linebackers. Receivers getting in there as well, getting those blocks. You're able to go 4 or 5 yards before the first point of contact.
At the Lone Star 37. Smithson Valley able to mix the run and the pass. Caleb Piegler now up to 60 rushing yards. Leading ground gainer in this one tonight. He'll draw the carry again. He'll draw a lot of traffic, however, and he'll be dropped for a loss. Back to the 39, a loss of 2. There's Nico Viveros again, the senior middle linebacker on the stop.
Yeah, they try to run a counter here, try to pull the guard around. He actually gives a heck of a block up there. I think that was Jake Irwin with a good block, but unfortunately that second level defenders, again, if they have a lane, they're tracking those guards. If those guards start pulling instead of going directly at them, they understand that the play is going sideways. Those guys are going to shoot that gap every time.
Now 2nd down and 12. Off play action. Knutson going deep, and guess who? Hunter Howe, touchdown, Smithson Valley. Beautiful play action fake, 39 yards on the strike to Hunter Howe. I guess the ankle feels okay.
What a play by Ty Knutson and Hunter Howe. Offensive line does a heck of a job selling the play action, and then they're able to get the pass over the top. We talked about the running game impacting the play action game, and give a shout out to the athletic training crew taping up that ankle and making sure that Hunter Howe is in a position to get the big boy touchdown.
For the conversion, extra point kick there for Trent Amaya. Now it is a 2-score lead for Smithson Valley as the Rangers lead it 13-0 here with 8:26 remaining in the 3rd quarter. Hunter Howe on the receiving end of that touchdown pass. 13-0 Smithson Valley with the lead on Frisco Lone Star, and Hunter Howe is turning to you, Isaiah Stanback, and saying, what ankle problem?
We told you do not want to allow him to have free release. He runs a 4.3. Get your hands on him, otherwise he's going to run by everybody on your team, and he has the quarterback in Ty Knutson that can get him the ball.
So now it's a 13-0 lead, compounding the issues for Lone Star, of course, not having their outstanding quarterback Trey Wright, at least not on the first series due to his ankle injury. And to be honest, I think that Howe's ankle injury did look a lot less significant than Trey Wright's. Here once again is Gross, who can change things in a hurry, and an excellent return for Davian Gross. He'll take it out to the 35-yard line, and look who's coming back. Or at least he's coming out toward the huddle to join in the huddle, but though he wants to be able to get out there, keeping an eye on him. And There's an injured Smithson Valley Ranger on the field. Philip Smith, senior safety.
I think Trey Wright's going to try, Greg.
Yeah.
I think he's going to try. And obviously, sophomore has a lot of years left to play, but this is the biggest game that he's ever played in his life. If there's an opportunity and a chance for him to get back on the field, he is going to take it. And you see him right now running back out there to lead his crew.
Would you say that saying that he's kind of jogging out there gingerly would be accurate?
Yeah, that's pretty accurate.
Okay. See how that affects him. First of all, we'll hand off the ball on first down, and it's not going anywhere. Ooh, boy, did Caden Leak come charging in along with Jake Stover. And no gain on the play. And it brings up second down.
Yeah, you're going to see the Rangers defense be a lot more aggressive playing downhill now, understanding that the quarterback who's been doing the majority of the running has been hobbled now. He's compromising his ability to be able to run in the ball, so now everything's going to be downhill. They have to be able to push the ball down the field in the throwing game if you want to try to back these guys off in the box.
Back to the ground again, but stumbling down was Massey. He was trying to get a quick jump to get past Leak, and he just lost his footing and hit the turf.
Caden Leak is a raged man right now. He's going absolutely insane. Back-to-back plays on the defensive front. You see him there shedding a block and getting in the backfield. A little swiper, no swiping on the top of the head, but it was just enough to get him down. He was able to get in the backfield, though. That was the biggest impact on that play.
I was looking to see if Massey might have stumbled over right. He didn't. It was just turf monster. Now it's 3rd and 11. Wright will throw for the first time since coming back. Or he'll run. Not enough for the first down. He was able to push off and go upfield, but couldn't tell how much it was effective because Smithson Valley defense closed so quickly. Devin DeToto on the tackle.
Yeah, no pressure. They set up there, just a 4-man rush. I think he pulls it down a little bit too early. He was sitting back there, got a little bit anxious. But to your point, the ankle looked relatively good on that. He showed some burst and his ability to be able to put his foot in the ground and cut. That's a good sign for Lone Star.
5-yard carry. And Madden back to punt now for the Rangers. Kick away, and Howe will field it. Stepped away from a couple of defenders, trying to get a wall and trying to get turned upfield, able to do it somewhat before he is forced out of bounds by Bryant Robinson. The punt was 34 yards and the return was 7. But Lone Star has to do something about this field position disadvantage. It's hurting them right now with Smithson Valley up 13 as we approach the midway mark of the 3rd quarter of the UIL 5A Division I State Championship. Ashton Genty, some of those outstanding players that have come through the Lone Star program.
Is that Ashton Genty guy? Is he pretty good?
Not bad. and probably wishes he had him right now. First down, the handoff to Shoquist. Because Lone Star a little bit hobbled, obviously, although it was, as you pointed out, a good sign to see Nick Wright able to function out there, run the ball a little bit. And as we mentioned, the starting field position has been a problem for Lone Star in this game, starting deep in their own end of the field, and Larry Hill among the best at playing the chess game and being able to play that field position game with the punting and then getting his defense to get stops to get the ball back in a good position. That's where they are right now. On 2nd down and 7. And again, back to the ground. Shoquist this time met right at the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play as he's wrapped up by Christopher Knowles.
Christopher Knowles is doing a heck of a job on that front line. His defense has to have it right now. You talk about that 3-4 defense, the 3 big fellas up front really holding down the fort with that entire offensive line. This is when your team needs it most. You're down by 2 possessions. Time is running off the clock in the back half of the 3rd quarter. You need to get your offense back on the field. In order to do that, you have to get off the field on 3rd down.
Forward progress was 1 yard for Shoquist. But now it is 3rd down and 6 for Smithson Valley. And Knutson, there's some pressure. Searching for a receiver, but he can run, and he will reach the line to gain. It'll be a first down right to the mark. Needed 6, picked up 6, first down. Bryant Robinson shoved him out of bounds, but it is out to the Smithson Valley 46.
You're going to see the offensive line do an okay job of picking up the pressure. They come to the inside. He gets outside leverage, able to outflank them. And then that second level defense just did not pull the trigger soon enough. They kind of sat back and they gave Ty Knutson all the energy that he needed to go get that first down.
And you could see the stick right in front of him.
Yeah, absolutely.
He knew what he needed to reach. Coach Hill's team moves the chains again.
You can best believe they're going to go back to this running game.
There's the toss outside. Shoquist, nice run with a stiff arm, shoved out of bounds at the 40-yard line, but that's 14 more. Santonio Martin took him down. As we talked about, this field position swap has really favored Smithson Valley. Should take another look.
Big time blocks on the outside by the receivers and the linemen that are getting out in front. Get it out of the ball carrier's hand. That's a good tackle right here. Nice form tackle. That's how you draw it up. That's how you work on it in training camp, but not before they're able to get the first down.
Yeah, 14 yards on the carry of the sophomore Gunnar Shoquist. He's carried it a couple of times in on this series, and this could be, well, let's see. Yeah, it is a false start against Smithson Valley. It'll cost the Rangers 5 and turn it into first down and 15. Tony Barcelona, referee out of this greater Houston area chapter.
False start on the offense, number 52. 5-yard penalty, first down.
You know, I mentioned that Tony Barcelona's out of the Houston chapter. All 3 games today officiated by Houston chapter crews. Greg Maxwell's outstanding crew on the 4A Division I final between Stephenville and Kilgore, and Ricky Prine, his crew from the Houston chapter, did the 4A D2 final between Carthage and West Orange Stark, and another Houston area chapter awarded the honor of working this one. Hand off. Shoquist able to gain back 4 of the 5 yards. Grace Hoyt on the tackle.
And right now, Smithson Valley is just trying to play the time of possession game. You continue to talk about the field of possession, but now it's about time of possession. You're up by 13. You're able to get and establish a line of scrimmage, not necessarily downhill right now because of the 3 big fellas in the middle, but they're able to get to the outside tackle box, and that's where they're starting to have some success. With Gunnar Shoquist has been the one that's been carrying the load on this particular drive.
It's kind of the death by 1,000 paper cuts so far, you know, just 3.5, 3.4, but that time they go for Shoquist and they'll drop him for a loss. Excellent lateral pursuit. Brody Fan, the senior, able to reach him second. That's a loss of 3 yards, and it does force Smithson Valley into a passing situation on 3rd down.
Yeah, they try to hit him with the pitch, and you see right there they actually lost leverage, but one heck of a play on the outside by Jordan Deck, being able to slow up Shoquist and help and get his guys to come out there and help and get him down on the ground. Now you got a big 3rd and long situation when you absolutely have to have it by Lone Star. You feel the energy kind of shifting right now. They need a big play defensively.
On 3rd down, 14 needed. Knutson escaping a tackler. He's got running room again. Can he get to the marker? He cannot. And a good job by the Lone Star defense using the boundary as an extra tackler. Quentin Henderson, a senior, out there along with Caleb Tasby to force him out after a gain of 8. Now it's 4th and 6.
How aggressive does Coach Larry Hill want to be? He has an opportunity to really stick it to Lone Star right now. This is not an easy 4th down curve. This is 4th and 6.
Yeah. Kind of in no man's land here. And maybe just trying to see if they can get somebody from Lone Star to come into the neutral zone. On the long count, they will go for it. Knutson, there is a flag down. Knutson unable to connect with Shaden Davis. There is a flag down. Let's see what the call is going to be here.
Might be something.
Ruling on the field, incomplete pass. After the play, sideline warning, Smithson Valley. First of the game, first down,
well,
Lone Star.
Tony Barcelona going over there and saying, can we get these people back? Just wanting to move back a little bit there. Sideline warning. But the big thing for Lone Star, the Rangers held, and now they get the football back.
The ball is back in their hands. This is huge for Trey Wright and his Lone Star offense. Can they get something going? The offense has sputtered ever since Trey Wright went out on that last series before halftime. It's been slow to start in this second half. Can he make a play, or can somebody else step up in his place?
Well, that's what they're dealing with. You saw the number there, 9.8. And on first down, Gross trying to turn it back upfield. The blue jerseys are around him, however, and they'll limit the gain to a couple, led by Stover and DeToto.
Yeah, they're trying to get the ball to the outside. We've seen it consecutively now, right? You bounce it to the outside, but then you allow the speed of the defense to go ahead and just run you down. I love the fact that they're trying to get the ball in the hands of Davian Gross, one of the most dynamic players we've seen in the state. You could do it in the passing game as well.
Gross signed with the University of Florida. Second down and off play action to throw right over the middle, incomplete. Haug had the coverage outside on Logan Brown. It's incomplete. I think the pass was largely out in front of him anyway, and now it's third down.
What a defensive play by Haug. We talk about his offensive prowess, but he was sticky like rice all over that route. We're going to see it here. Ball is thrown on an absolute rope, but look at Haug coming in on time. He didn't get there before. Some people are going to argue that based upon whatever fan base you're on. That was one heck of a defensive play.
Now third down. And Wright under some pressure. Can he run? Can't get away. Down he goes. Stover and Roberts in on him, and it brings up fourth down.
Stover is being Grover right now because he is being a menace on the defensive side of the ball. He is absolutely everywhere. You see the big fella, big Justin Roberts, getting in there, the running back trying to pick him up. You're going to need more people to get him down.
Again, a punt from Lone Star. Madden to kick it. Howe and Noah Johnson back deep to receive. Howe will let it bounce, and it popped back upfield where it was touched, and it will be spotted at the 34-yard line. So just a 32-yard punt there. Larry Hill talking things over right now, and again, that field position game, even though it's a little further back from Smithson Valley, it has still been in the Rangers' favor the majority of this football game.
Yeah, for sure. And I know when we talk about the Rangers, we're talking about Smithson Valley. They're up here winning the ball game in that regard. But right now, you have to be careful of your Lone Star not to sell out on the run, because a play-action game can kill you.
Back to Piegler, who had a rest. He was out the last series, but he's wrapped up. Line of scrimmage, no gain on the play. Marcel Dominguez, the stop for Lone Star.
A heck of a play right there defensively for Lone Star. I mentioned about their defense, right? Early in the game, we mentioned their safeties playing at about the 10-yard depth mark. 10 yards deep is not enough to get behind Howard and make sure that he doesn't get behind your defense. So what I was mentioning about the play action, you have to be concerned about these guys playing too close to the line of scrimmage, trying to take away the run, and you're almost sure that Smithson Valley is seeing those safeties creep closer. If I'm them, I'm taking a shot.
Yeah, Ranger taking a little more time in the huddle now, running a little more clock off, play clock under 5 now on second down. And delay draw up the middle. Piegler bouncing off tacklers, not enough for the first down, but a nice second down run. Carice Hoyt on the tackle. It's a gain of 8. Now it brings up third down and 2.
Yeah, you see it there on just a nice draw play. They go ahead and fake the screen. By faking the screen, they get the linebackers to widen out. What happens when they widen out? Well, now it gives good blocking angles for the offensive lineman to be able to go up there and get blocks for the draw.
Third down and 2. What Larry Hill would love to see is his team execute this, pick up the first down, and take it to the fourth quarter. They have to run at least one more play here, so they're prepared to do that now. Ty Knutson out of the gun, and he'll flip it to Haug, turning the corner on the speed sweep. There's a flag down, and Knutson, or rather Haug, is short of the marker as Carice Hoyt and Bryce Hayes Roberts team up on the tackle. Let's check the flag. Holding against Smithson Valley. Tony Barcelona asking Jeff Rayburn what he wants to do here. Coach Rayburn still having the options explained.
Holding. Offense, number 19. Penalties declined. Fourth down.
Okay, Coach Rayburn is banking on the fact that Larry Hill will punt on fourth down and 2. Excellent play made here on the tackle.
Oh, yeah, you see it out there. They're at the receiver position. Brody Wish just goes ahead and just pulls his man down to the ground. You love to see him on his assignment, but execution was not there.
And Larry Hill says, you know, we can think about this. Got the quarter break here.
End of the third quarter of the 5A Division I state championship, and the defending state champions 1 quarter away from making it back-to-back. Lone Star trying to turn it around, but it is Smithson Valley leading 13-0 here on Victory Plus, presented by Jack in the Box. He has said we will punt on 4th down, so the kick is away from the left footer, Trentemaier. And it does take another nice Smithson Valley bounce, but it's down at the 21-yard line. You know, when he was talking about that checklist, he told Austin, he goes, you would laugh at it if you saw it. It looks elementary in every face. But he said, you know, this little thing he said, get rosters and 2 deeps and all my information out to the guys at Victory Plus. He said that was on the list and stuff like that.
It's safe to say that he's making his list and checking it twice?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, his defense has been naughty and his offense has been nice.
Facts.
All right.
Got bars up here. I see you.
Uh-huh.
Look at you signed to a record deal.
Yeah. Slow. From the 21. And Madden is back in at quarterback for Lone Star. Actually, no, it's not. It's right. But he swings it out. And that goes nowhere as they try to go to Davian Gross. Tried to set up the outside place. And Liam McGee made the stop. No gain on the play. And we mentioned how difficult it's been for Lone Star. When you look at that, there's your average starting field position there. Hard to win football games when you're starting from your own 21 on average and the opponent is starting from their own 47.
Yeah, that's a huge disadvantage. We talk so much about the importance of special teams, and that's when you see it show up. Where are you starting your possession at? You see exactly where they're at right now, inside their own 20.
Wright trying to get Lone Star going. On 2nd down, Trey Wright looking. Has some time. Now over the middle, broken up. And this time, it's broken up by Noah Johnson, the junior safety. He had the coverage on Carice Hoyt.
Yeah, he was sticky defense, but you see Trey Wright, his eyes failed him on that one. He looked down the same receiver the entire time. The defense picks up on those cues. They're looking exactly where your quarterback's looking, and you see him. Defender had an opportunity, had time to come from the backside, come all the way around, and then bat it down. It's a good indication that your quarterback is looking down your receiver.
So now on 3rd down at 15. Right, with pressure coming. And he is able to get rid of it. I thought that was a forward pass, but they're going to rule that a fumble. And if it is so noted, Devin DeToto was on the ball, and now they'll say 4th down. I thought it was a forward pass at first, but James Moses got on the loose football. Take another look.
The big defensive line, big Justin Roberts.
Oh, no, it just pops out. Yeah.
Justin Roberts right there, Hudson Woods. Those guys are creating a lot of discomfort for Trey Wright in that backfield. They are making it hard on that offensive line. 4-man rush, creating all the pressure in the world. When you're able to dictate pressure with a 4-man rush, you don't have to blitz, and it really allows for you to sit back in coverage and take away the passing options.
Lone Star able to dodge disaster, but they do have to surrender possession. And Johnson, fielding the punt, is wrapped up at the Smithson Valley 46. So here you go again. As we said, Smithson Valley's average starting field position is of 47.
Yeah.
This would be the 46. There was a flag down. So we'll check the infraction here. Our referee, Tony Barcelona, conferring with his crew for giving the official indication. Could be a hold, but depending on where it is in the possession exchange off the punt and where it was fielded. Here's the call.
After the play, personal foul on the kick returning team, number 17, 15-yard penalty, 1st down.
Well, that'll hurt your field position. That's Colton Hornsby who's called for that. So that's a break for Lone Star here from their own 31. Smithson Valley with the ball. Ranger quarterback Ty Knutson will flip it around to Hunter Haug again, trying to gain the corner. He has the edge. Here's Haug, and he has a 1st down and flung out of bounds at the 49-yard line of Smithson Valley. That's an 18-yard speed sweep.
Finally got the edge. Fake that ball, give it on the reverse, give it out on the edge. You got big 88, Julian Martinez out on the edge, getting his blocks, and get the ball in your best ball handler's hands and let him use that 4-3 speed to your advantage. Another first down for Smithson Valley.
So from the 49-yard line, 2 minutes into this final quarter, a 2-touchdown advantage. Back to the ground, and across midfield is Gunnar Sjoquist. Sjoquist to the 49-yard line, a gain of a couple. Marcel Dominguez yet another stop for the Lone Star defense.
That was a tough tackle too. Big Marcel Dominguez. We continue to talk about him and his impact up front. I don't think people understand how hard of a job it is for those 3 down linemen to go out there and try to have an impact on this game, but they are doing one heck of a job. You see there are a lot of these runs that are being successful are having to go to the outside, not so much up the middle, but a lot of these are going to outside. That's because they're trying to get outside of those big fellas in the middle.
Second down and 8. Piegler back in the backfield in the pistol. And the delayed handoff to Piegler, not fooling Dominguez at all. Wraps him up for a loss of 4 yards. How about Marcel Dominguez having himself a night?
Greg, you have to see this replay. Watch 44 right in the middle with the swim move right in the backfield, 5 yards deep in the backfield. What do you do to stop that? Coach Rayburn told us that this man is unblockable, and I tell you what, he's not proving us wrong.
Not at all. Now from the 47, it's 3rd and 12. Piegler remains the back in the pistol behind Knutson, but he'll look to throw. And going deep. Guess who's open again? Down the field. Howe can't hold it, however. And just enough coverage from Carice Hoyt, the safety, to help disrupt the completion. It's 4th down.
Heck of a pressure by the Lone Star defense, getting in the backfield and disrupting Ty Newton's confidence being able to sit in that pocket. But man, this ball is thrown on the money. Just a great defense. Defensively right there by Carice Hoyt, playing it on both sides of the ball. You see that ball is dropped directly in the bucket. Couldn't have been thrown any better. Just a good play by the defense.
Yeah, that's recovery speed there after first looked like Howe had a step or two. Amaya's punt, trying to knuckle it deep in the field. It does take another Smithson Valley roll. He just kind of knuckled that thing, and it looked like it went about 10 feet high, but it rolls down to the 16-yard line. That's 37 yards of an unreturnable punt. And with 8:16 to go, time beginning to become a factor for Lone Star in their hopes to win their first ever state championship. Both teams in blue and white, and right now it's the ones from down in the Comal ISD, just north of San Antonio, who hold the lead right now, and that's a major reason why. See there.
Ouch, that is not what you want to see if you're a Frisco Lone Star. 3 total yards in the second half. I know a big reason of that is because the quarterback right there, Trey Wright, has been hobbled.
Wright to the air and coming back to make that catch, and a good job to come up there for Zach Forbish, the junior receiver. A gain of 7 for Forbish.
And that's somebody that they want to get going. Zach Forbish comes into this game with 12 touchdowns. They have 2 receivers on this team that have 12 or more touchdowns. It's time to get those guys involved in the passing game down the field.
Second down and 3. And there goes Wright. Running well enough to pick up the first down before he's wrapped up and then steps out of bounds.
That looks like the Wright from the first half. He looks like whatever he was dealing with injury-wise, he's shaking it off enough to have that same burst and change of direction that he had in the first half. That's huge for Lone Star's ability. Looks like we have a man down.
Gain of 7 on that original pass, and it's Devin DeToto who has had such a big role in this game on the defensive side for Smithson Valley. And hopefully the sophomore is okay. Good to see him get back up. So now, after the 7-yard pass and then the run for the first down by Wright, he went for 7. Now they'll overload the bottom of your screen with 4 receivers. And Wright will look to throw. Auer, take off and run. Outside, able to escape a man in a good first down run by Trey Wright. Looked 2 or 3 times, Zay, like he was going to be wrapped up, but he turns it into a 6-yard gain.
Nah, this is Trey Wright for the first half right here, Craig. You'll see him, he's going to check to his left side to that 4-man side that you're talking about. Foot in the ground. One more time, foot in the ground. Oh, my goodness. Listen, when you have this man in the open field, that is the last thing you want. His ability to change directions is second to none. He is a special talent. It's good to see him back with his running like he was in the first half.
Second down and 4 after the 6-yard carry by Wright. The ball at the Lone Star 37. Again, the 4 wide out. Screen at the bottom and 1 to the top. And Wright this time is wrapped up, cannot escape. Coming in to get him was Caleb Barrow. Barrow, the senior defensive end, wraps him up. Barrow came in with 10 sacks and gets a TFL there.
Listen, the guard just got beat on that one. That was mano-a-mano right off the ball. Just talk about Coach Larry Hill talked about how he is the most versatile defensive lineman that he has. He can play linebacker or he played DN. You saw his quickness on display right there.
Now on 3rd down. Wright across the middle, and it is caught. It'll be a first down. And then the ball loose and picked up, and then it's in the air again and picked out of the air. Taken away by Philip Smith. Hot potato in the 5A Division I championship game. This play got crazy, and in the end, Smithson Valley benefits in a major way. Officially an 18-yard return. Right to Gross, and then it gets crazy, Zay.
It gets a little crazy. Boom, big time hit. Ball gets stripped out. Oh, now all of a sudden we return it. Boom, another big hit. Playing Harlem Globetrotters right now. Craig, if you was on the field, you might have had the ball in your hand too. Heck of a job by this defense going out there and making a play when they needed it.
Yeah.
First hit, chicken strips right there. Scoop, right, trying to go do a scoop and score. Big lineman says, nope, my turn. Ball pops up, falls right in the hands of the Rangers, and they're able to possess the ball. What a turn of events.
Stover had it first, and then it popped out of him like a bar of soap. And then it was pulled down by Smith. 18 yards total on the return, and back to the ground to Piegler for Smithson Valley. Here's the biggest thing. A, takeaway. B, field position. And C, the clock headed toward the final half of the final quarter.
And D, Craig, you still use bar soap?
I'm not telling.
Wow, that was absolutely crazy. Little football follies, would you say?
Indeed. That one lost a yard that play, so it's 2nd down and 11 for Smithson Valley. Out of the pistol to Piegler, trying to pick his way through traffic and down to the 25-yard line for a gain of a couple. Kenton Cotton, senior strong side linebacker, on the tackle, but now it's inside the final half of the final quarter, and you know, losing the possession hurts, and then the time running becomes a factor for Lone Star.
And you've been, you know, beating a dead drum at this point, right? With field position, that's where they're starting at, right? They're starting literally inside their own 30-yard line, heading in to try to go score. Right now, they're already in field goal position, right? So this has been the story of the day. You've been right on it, Craig.
3rd down and 9. And this time looking to throw was Knutson. Man open, ball caught, first down inside the 15-yard line. That's Brody Wick on the catch. Seth Keys brought him down, but not before Wick hauls it in for a 12-yard gain.
Listen, Craig, when I turned on the film and checked out Ty Knutson, I can tell you what, he throws one of the prettiest balls that I've seen at any quarterback at the high school level. Look at the confidence he has. What a pocket by the offensive line. Takes a shot to the head, but look at the accuracy, look at the ball location, and look at the first down.
Yeah, Wick does a good job to climb the ladder a little bit.
Absolutely.
And again, it keeps the clock rolling inexorably toward the end of this football game. It's down inside the final 5 minutes. And a timeout. You heard Larry Hill there, I think. Timeout! He wanted to make sure that his guys are set and probably pass along the message to them. It's now or never. Got to make the stop here. Cannot allow them to get a touchdown. A field goal still keeps it a 2-score game. You would need 2 touchdowns and 2 two-point conversions. By the way, we saw Newton do that last night and coming back to make it interesting. But got to keep him out of the end zone right now. If you're Lone Star, you have to do it. And Larry Hill is telling his team, we get this thing in here, we're going to put this thing out of reach.
Yeah, and Coach Larry Hill right now is using the wisdom that he's accumulated from being in his position for many years consecutively, right? Third straight time being here. He understands the situation. He understands game management. He wants to convey to these young high school athletes that, hey, I know you feel like you have the game in hand. There's a difference between having the game in hand and putting the game away, and that's exactly what he wants his team to go do right now.
Liking what you're seeing? How about 3 more tomorrow on the final day of the UIL State Football Championships? Begins at 11 o'clock in the morning, South Oak Cliff against Richmond Randall. Then Duncanville and North Shore for the 6th time meeting in the 6A Division I. And then in the D2, it's DeSoto and King. And here, running down close to the goal line. It's not in the end zone for Ty Knutson, but it is a first down. And it'll be 1st and goal at the 1.
Yeah, they just run a quarterback draw right here, understanding that they have the advantage. We continue to talk about those 3 down linemen. If you're able to get those guys blocked with your 5 down, your quarterback is on the 2nd level, quick, fast, and in a hurry.
Here's a great coaching staff at work. Larry Hill's staff taking their time to signal in the play to begin with.
Controlling it.
And then Knutson passing along the play call. Now we'll run that play clock down under 5 seconds. Handoff, Piegler, touchdown, Smithson Valley. Caleb Piegler gives the Rangers a huge step toward back-to-back state titles.
That might have been the easiest run play they've had all game long. Simple dive play to Piegler. He didn't have to do anything but just run straight, and he says, nighty-night, Lone Star.
Well, and Larry Hill thinking about this, said, let's go ahead and just go for 2, trying to make it a clean 21 out there. It's a 3-score game anyway. It would force Lone Star in the final 4:07 to score 3 touchdowns and have 3 extra points. So Smithson Valley goes for 2. And again, Coach Hill and his staff want to be sure they'll take the timeout, discuss what they want to do here.
Listen, you can tell with Coach Hill, there is a standard. He is not accepting anything but excellence and perfection out of his team right now. He is up 19-0, 4 minutes left in the game, and you see him calling a timeout because he wants them to convert on this 2-point conversion.
And these are 2 tremendous coaches. What Jeff Rayburn has done at Lone Star to build this program, and Smithson Valley winning the title last year, and now that road to Arlington has been impressive, and it come from behind against a really good and previously unbeaten Port Arthur Memorial team to beat them. And you know, for the Rangers, their 1 loss was the 2nd game of the year to a really good Brennan team, but they have turned it around after that. And so now Coach Hill wanting to be sure, Coach Rayburn also wanting his defense to see his special teams, if they can make a play here and keep it a 19-point deficit, knowing what a steep hill it is to climb now. But Smithson Valley going for 2. And looking and keeping and scoring in for the 2-point conversion is Ty Knutson. Took a hard pop from Carice Hoyt, but spun in for the 2-point conversion to make it 21-0 Smithson Valley.
Just a solid drive by Smithson Valley. This is exactly how you draw it up. Go down there, control the line of scrimmage. Here it is, the first play that's a touchdown on the series. Just too easy on the dive play. Offensive line does a great job to make it as easy as possible for Piegler. And then for the 2-point conversion, Coach wanted to make sure that he had the right look. He did get the right look, come out on the sprint out. The pass is not there. Nobody's in front of you. Take the green grass, get in the end zone.
That he does. And for the folks who made the drive up from Comal County, They're getting pretty excited knowing they're closing in after all those years of heartbreak, disappointment, frustration. Got close, have been in multiple state championship games, but they always seem to go up against great teams, some South Lake Carroll teams, and when they were at the highest level, and they played Aledo 2 years ago here, and you know it'd been a tough road for Coach Hill's team, but they stayed the course and were finally able to break through with a win over an outstanding Highland Park program last year here in the final, and now against Lone Star, which beat Highland Park in the playoffs a couple of weeks ago in the quarterfinals. That one's popped up and fair caught.
And Craig, one thing you mentioned, Coach Hill, how he's been here, right? Third straight time. Took the L 2 years ago, won last year. You haven't seen this man smile not one time yet. He is locked in.
He's one of the most affable guys you'll visit with as well. But he's just, you know, he's just an all shucks kind of guy.
Listen, it's not over until the clock shows 0.
That's right. That's why he's coaching to the end. And there is 4:07 to go, but now the task becomes much more difficult for Lone Star. Down 21-0. Trey Wright will try to get it going again.
And there's not a throw on this field that Trey Wright can't make. We mentioned that he has 2 dynamic receivers. Now you just got to get the ball in their hands.
Swings it out and incomplete. He was trying to go to Gross. He just hopped off of his hands, and then Colton Hornsby made sure he didn't have it.
Yeah, I think he heard some tiptoes coming up on him. He didn't want any part of that big time hit. The defense was just sitting out there. They try to run him on a little bit of a wheel route. Right, trying to put it on him, but there's a defender sitting right there. Even if he would have caught it, he would have took one heck of a shot. You want to see these guys push the ball down the field. A lot of their passes have been near the line of scrimmage. Take some vertical risks. You might even get a pass interference call in your favor.
On 2nd down and 10, Wright having a scramble, being chased. Flag goes down. This may well be for holding. He was really being chased by Justin Roberts.
He's been all
senior.
over the place.
Yeah, Roberts has. He's headed for UTEP. Play for Scotty Walden and that program out in El Paso. Let's check the call here.
Holding. Offense, number 78. 10-yard penalty. Repeat, 2nd down.
Listen, Kendrick Morgan on the left side of your screen is doing everything he possibly can, but that man that he is trying to block is an absolute beast. He was over there working with Hudson Woods, but right next to Hudson Woods is Justin Roberts. Those two playing next to each other is an offensive line's worst nightmare.
It becomes 3rd down and 20. Or excuse me, 2nd down and 20. And Wright trying to set up a bubble screen, and that thing just bounced into the turf. He had Gross running back directly toward him, I think, with the intent of hitting over the pass and letting him turn upfield on the tunnel, and the ball just never got there.
Yeah, again, they're trying to run a screenplay. You know, I just mentioned how the majority of their passes have been near the line of scrimmage. When you have a quarterback with the exceptional arm talent as Trey Wright, and you have exceptional receivers with this kind of speed, you would love to see them try to take some shots down the field. The probability of catching the ball or getting a PI in your favor is high. Take the risk.
Try it now, but that ball was tipped and picked. Intercepted. Here goes Hornsby for a game-sealing touchdown. 23 yards on the return. What a moment for the senior linebacker, Colton Hornsby, who takes it in on the pick 6.
You mentioned Lone Star needed to take a shot down the field. They tried to do so, but in order to do so, you have to have pass protection. They did not necessarily have the time they needed on this particular play. You're going to see Trey Wright drop back right here, and immediately the ball is stripped out of his hand, tipped by Hudson Woods, and right there on the spot is Colton Hornsby, who has been all over the field tonight, and he goes out there and caps off this game. His senior year, finishes it off on this drive with an interception for a touchdown.
What a moment for him. Extra point, good. And now, with 3:34 remaining in the game, Coach Hill and the Smithson Valley Rangers that much closer to back-to-back state titles. Another look.
Yeah, Hudson Woods just won his one-on-one matchup over there. He beat the right tackle in Brett Tompkins, who was actually their best offensive lineman. Won that matchup, and because he won that matchup, he got his hand on the ball as it was coming out of the hands of Trey Wright. Tips and overthrows, coach always says, you got to get those, and that's exactly what Colton Hornsby did.
It's just he wasn't going to the doctor because, you know, he didn't want to get, he thought, if I don't go to the doctor, then I don't get a diagnosis that it's broken. And eventually they found all that stuff out, but Boy, did he heal, and boy, has he played tremendously tonight.
8 inches in 1 year. What is his poor parents?
You talk about your growth chart.
Their grocery bill, man.
Yeah, there is that. So now, Lone Star will try it again with 3:29 to go.
Oh,
and Wright loses it. Ball's loose, and he gets back on it.
Again.
He was popped by guess who? Hudson Woods.
We have to take a look at this one more time. Again, Hudson Woods is facing Brett Tompkins. Good on the right side of your screen, and he just does the bull rush this time. Runs right through Tompkins and gets another strip. Look at this. Hands to the chest, run him straight back into the lap of the quarterback. They try to assist. You're going to need more people because this man is a madman right now.
Loss of 12. So it's second down and 22 back from the 15, and a handoff. And taken off upfield is Carice Hoyt, able to gain back some yardage there, but it's going to bring up third down. He picked up the 12 that was lost, but all it does is roll up to 3rd and 10 with the clock still rolling. Again to the ground. And Hoyt this time able to move it upfield, but it brings up 4th down now.
Wow, what an advantage it is to have dominant defensive linemen that can win their one-on-one matchups. That's what defensive line coaches dream of, having guys that could just win. You get them lined up. A lot of times guys get double teamed, but when you have your one-on-one matchups, you need them to win, and that's exactly what Hudson Woods and Justin Roberts specifically have been doing.
They go for it on 4th down and able to move forward on the carry. A gain of 6. They pick up the 1st down, and that takes us to the 2-minute timeout. Smithson Valley can feel it now, closing in on consecutive state titles after never having won one until last year. The Rangers up 28-0 with 2 minutes to go.
Well, for Smithson Valley, there happens to be a man named Hudson Woods, number 92, absolute monster among men. You guys see him on the right side of your screen. It doesn't matter if he's using a swim move, doesn't matter if he's using a bull rush. Either way, he's going to get back there and cause havoc in the backfield for your quarterback. 2 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, 2 pass breakups. He has been a problem all game long, and it has worked to the advantage of the Rangers.
Lone Star at this point now with 2 minutes to go, just trying to get something for its efforts, trying to get something on the board, and that pass was caught out of bounds. Nice grab made by Forbish, but he was flying out of bounds at the time that he did it.
And they just ran out of room on that one. I mentioned it earlier in this quarter. You have to get Forbish going. You have to get Davian Gross going. If you throw the ball down the field, these guys are going to make the play for you. Look at that grab. That's an exceptional grab. You just ran out of room because you threw it down here to the single side boundary like we talked about in the first half. Give these guys space, push the ball down the field. They're going to make a play for you.
To the ground again. Big run here up the middle by Massey. And he'll take it down to the 42 for another 1st down. 17 yards on the run. And now from the Smithson Valley 42. Right, time over the middle, and in and out of the hands of Gross, incomplete.
Wright would like to have that one back, and so would Gross. Both players are going to see something on film that they wish that they can improve upon on that particular play. Wright threw it a little bit behind him on his back shoulder, but the old school rule, Craig, is if it touches your hands, you got to bring it in. So both of them have a responsibility that neither one of them executed it the way they want to on that play.
2nd down and 10. Back to the ground again. And Massey running forward and close to a 1st down. In fact, he'll have it. Good second effort there toward the end. Smithson Valley playing back, obviously, not wanting to give up anything behind them and forcing Lone Star to use clock now.
And one thing to mention, I know as this clock starts to run down, the Frisco Lone Star Rangers have such a young team. On their offensive line, they only have 1 senior starting on their offensive line.
Now Wright looks to throw. Downfield, incomplete.
But just continue my thought. Sophomore quarterback, really young offensive line. Zach Forbish, one of their star receivers, is coming back. A lot of their contributors are still going to be here. Now, where they're going to have to replace some main contributors is going to be on the defensive side of the ball. Their defensive line, all the starters are all seniors. They're going to miss those guys in a major way for sure, for those guys are impactful players. But Coach Rayburn has a lot to work with going into next season.
Second down. And on 2nd and 10, Wright looks to go to the air again, being flushed. Downfield, does have a man. Caught, touchdown. Lone Star on the board. Logan Brown with a catch. A 32-yard strike.
Yet another example of that athleticism of Trey Wright. Talk about arm talent. Talk about ability to be able to utilize your leg. This dude is playing hurt right now, y'all. Steps up in the pocket, steps out on the pocket, sees the receiver going down the sideline and puts the ball on the money, playing on one leg and still making plays for his team. These guys have fight. There's no quit in these guys at all. They need to hold their heads high. It's good to see them get on the board.
Landon Moore for the extra point. And yes, Lone Star is on the board. 41 seconds remaining in the ball game. And of course, Lone Star will have to try the onside kick coming up. And Larry Hill knows his guys need to just do their job and field the onside kick, and this thing will be done.
I think I saw a smile.
Yeah,
I saw a smirk.
Cracked a little bit of a smile there.
We might have to put that in slow motion. I think we saw a little smirk. He can sense it coming. 41 seconds away, back to back.
So the extra point no good, and now Lone Star going to the onside kick. If they recover it, the Rangers do have all 3 of their timeouts, but of course, obviously, time the biggest issue now. Here comes the onside kick. Hard bounce, and Hunter Haug fields it and promptly puts down the knee. And that will do it. Smithson Valley will close in on its 2nd consecutive state title. You made a great point, Isaiah, talking about what Jeff Rayburn has built at Lone Star. An annual contender year in, year out. They made the state finals back in 2015, lost to Cedar Park down at NRG Stadium in Houston. But he has this program in really good shape. Back-to-back trips to the state title round.
Very much so. And Craig, you've mentioned it in the past. It can't be understated how great of a program he's created in such a very competitive market. Out there in Frisco, there's so many high schools that he has to compete with. He's pulling from one pool of players. It's not like some of these other schools that everybody goes to one school. He has to really build this program and this culture.
Yeah, in his attendance zone. And you know, the funny thing is that there's an old saying going around that if you stand on a roof anywhere in Frisco and walk in a 360-degree angle, turning carefully on top of a roof, you can probably see anywhere upwards of 5 high schools. And that might be the play. Easton Walker will step in at quarterback to take that snap, to say, yeah, he took a snap in a state championship game, and hands it off now. And now that clock will run, as Larry Hill wanted to get younger guys on the field, and that was a carry from Lincoln McKeon.
I don't think he liked that bath by one of his coaches.
Yeah, he probably could have done without that.
Did you see the look he gave his coach?
But he'll gladly take it now with his team headed toward the championship. For the 2nd straight year, the state championship trophy will ride down US 281 through the communities of Spring Branch and Bull Verde and those in the area as the Smithson Valley Rangers are back-to-back 5A Division I state champions of Texas.
Says a lot to be in this game 3 consecutive years. 2 out of 3 championships is not bad at all, Craig. 66% winning percentage in the state finals these last 3 years. He's done a heck of a job. Tonight, his team showed up in a major way. All 3 phases of the game. It wasn't just one portion of it. State champs once again.
You know, he's got a pretty simple philosophy about a lot of things that you know, good things will happen to you in coaching. Might not necessarily be state championships, but good things will happen. Well, those good things have happened to him as well as the state titles. He is a legend among the Texas High School Coaches Association. He served on the board of the Texas High School Coaches Association's Education Foundation, and just, you know, an outstanding holiday season. And his players like Hudson Woods and obviously Ty Knutson and Caleb Piegler and other guys with this Smithson Valley team. Hunter Haug, who a big part of it. Colton Hornsby, a big part of it. So many guys. And that's what's really made it work for them, the ensemble cast.
Yeah, very much so. This is a very collective group. And Craig, I know that coach has his list, has his checklist, and you just have to wonder if he's now grabbing that list and checking that last box and saying back-to-back state champs, checked, mate.
You know, you're seeing the Rangers receive their state runner-up medals, their state final medals, and a great accomplishment again from this program in taking that step forward to be one of the dominant forces in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex over these past few years in 5A Division football, taking their place along the side of the perennial state champion Aledo, or Highland Park with multiple state titles, or Denton Ryan, which has had multiple state titles. That's the only thing that's missing from the resume. It's a big thing, but it's the only thing that's missing, because otherwise this program is in really good shape.
Yeah, very much so. And the biggest thing that you can really tell about this program is the culture. It's really established here.
All right, time now for the offensive and defensive MVPs.
At this time, we direct your attention to the center of the field for the presentation of the MVP awards. The defensive player of the game for the Conference 5A Division I football state championship game from Smithson Valley High School, number 17, Colton Hornsby.
Well, Hornsby had the big picks there. He was also the leading tackler. He had 11 tackles. 7 of them were solos. He had a sack. He had an interception in the game. He had a marvelous game.
Yeah, he did. He had the interception all the way ran back as well, so that probably helped his case. Multiple guys could have gotten this award tonight. This defense was absolutely stifling, suffocating defense, and there's contributors on every level. Kudos to Colton on this one.
Well, I think that's what Larry Hill meant when he said he had some help there in talking about Woods, because it was truly the sum of the parts here. So the defensive MVP going to the senior, Colton Hornsby.
So many good players on this defense.
And now for the offensive player of the game for the 5A Division I football state championship game from Smithson Valley High School, number 4, Hunter Haug.
Well earned there, and considering he had to come back after turning an ankle, whatever it was, it did not affect him in the second half.
No, you talk about somebody who's one of the speedsters on the field, and it's one thing to have the speed, it's another thing to put it on display, and you guys see it right there statistically. This dude is an absolute menace when he gets up to the third level. They have to be able to identify where he was at. They were unable to do so. He was a big play guy for this team today, and a big reason why they're walking away state champs. Proud moment for moms.
No doubt. We saw the executive director of the UIL there on the far left, Dr. Jamie Harrison, on the far right, the athletic director of athletics for the UIL, Raysa Payton.
And now for the runner-up trophy, completing the season with a 15-1 record. The Rangers of Lone Star High School have represented their school with pride. Coach Jeff Rayburn will now accept the state finalist trophy. We congratulate the Rangers of Lone Star High School for an outstanding season.
It matches the farthest advance in the high school football playoffs for the Lone Star Rangers. And as we said, you get the feeling they'll have the opportunity to return in the future with the talent they have, the coaching they have, one of the great elements.
And now, at this time, we would like to recognize the 5A Division I football state champ, the Rangers of Smithson Valley High School. With a record of 15-1, Coach Larry Hill and his team have achieved the goal of becoming Texas High School state champ. Coach Hill will accept the state championship trophy. Congratulations on an incredible season. And once again, your 5A Division I state football champion, the Rangers of Smithson Valley High School.
What a moment for this program from down in Comal County, the Comal ISD. I mentioned communities like Spring Branch and Bulverde, and there are other ones. There are some smaller ones as well, and it is a community effort. Send their kids in that attendance zone to Larry Hill and Smithson Valley, and now the Rangers are back-to-back 5A Division I state champions.